Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Squawking1200. We're getting some stuff prepped and ready. Just booting up X-Plane 11.10. We are going to start with a new flight. We are going to start with the where is it? Cessna 172 Skyhawk Rep, and we're going to start somewhere simple. We're going to go to one of my favorite locations. You guys are probably familiar with this. We're going to go to Block Island. Oh, let's start this down a little bit darker. I just uploaded I believe the newest version of the rep. We have pilot to ATC. We'll be running in the background. Just tried to connect it to the sim, but yeah, when the sim is not up and awake, it will not connect to the sim. Had a couple questions that came up that we'll get to as we go. Christian Schmar, thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Had a few new subscribers. I don't know if I can find that list on my phone. Let's see. Brian had a question. Normand asked when my next stream is. It is now. I was hoping to get to this a little bit earlier today, but my kids kind of commandeered the computer and played probably, can't even know how many hours of Rocket League and Arma, Battlefield 1. It was like a non-stop war zone in here. We're going to bring things back to a little more civilized time with some aviation. Rep was updated successfully. Please reload the airplane in order to apply the changes. Understood. I can do that. Plugin, developer, reload. So if you haven't reloaded an aircraft, this is how you do it. Press the reload the aircraft button. So far, I've been reading mixed reviews on the Facebook on a bunch of the Facebook sites about frame loss, etc. So far, well, let's see if this crashes or not. Then I might have I might change my answer. But as long as we're just reloading the aircraft, start getting to my thoughts. I know a couple people had reported some long distance flights that kind of basically puked a couple hours in, and that stinks. Mr. Rep, why are you flying here? Hang on. Alright, we got to dispense with that. Seahawk Rep, Skyhawk Rep. Start with engines running. Was not checked. I'm gonna go with the resume flight. That's weird. Let's do a quick check of the settings. See where I left off with my graphics. So I got the number of world objects cranked up. We're 1 below maximum. Visual effects 1 below maximum. Texture quality is all the way up. We're on an island though, so there's really not a lot of objects to draw, and I am doing draw shadows on scenery. Someone said one of these sliders may have changed. We'll see as we go. I haven't had a ton of time to get into the new release, so we're going to start with the maintenance report here. This is the default Cessna 172 with the Sim Coders Reality Expansion Pack. Page 1 looks good. Page 2 looks good. Current charge, that looks good. Good. I thought I had disconnected my battery, but maybe that's because of the upgrade to the new model. Let's take a quick look at the walk around. I have my pilot operating handbook. It's in this little pouch down here. My parking brake is on. Avionics power switch is off. Ignition switch is off. Now, fuel quantity master switch on. Let's make the yoke disappear here. Go away, yoke. Huh. Okay, this is locked in this view. So we're going to go master switch on, flaps down. Can't check to see if they're going down at the same time. Master switch off. We're going to go to the, do we go lights check or do we go pre-flight? We stay with pre-flight. So we're going to go next. Fuel valve on, fuel selector valve on, static pressure source right here. That's this. That's off. Trim controls neutral. Let's fix that. Next up, we're going to check the bags door. Check for security. Security. Good. That's good. That's secure. No, I just want to make sure that this thing made it down to neutral. Come on. Oh yeah. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip ahead. We're doing things a little bit by the book today. Baggage door. Check for security. No handcuffs. Good. Check elevator. Keep pressed. Check for freedom of movement and security. Feels good. Nice. Check the rudder. Keep pressed. Nice solid thump. Looks good. Sounds good. We're going to toggle the tie down. Wrong direction. Next, we're going to check the emergency locator antenna. Check for integrity. Where were you last night? Okay. You have a witness. Corroborate that story. So the emergency locator antenna has some integrity. It did not lie. Flaps. Keep pressed. Keep pressed. And check for security. Aileron. Keep pressed. Aileron. Free of movement and secure. Next up, toggle the tie down. Toggle on. Toggle off. Double check. Going to check for the fuel. We have 55 liters. We're going to check for contaminants. The color is blue. We are good to go. No water in the gas. No contaminants. No sediment. We're going to check the tire and the wheel well. Ooh, look at that lighting. Very nice. The Goodyears look good. The tire status is in the green here. We're going to check the oil color and quantity. It's looking like slightly dehydrated urine. I think that's good for oil. It's not good for a person. It means they need to drink more water. Next up, we're going to check the propeller. Let's say McCulley. The spinner. Check for security and oil leaks. The propeller spinner is not leaking oil and the propeller is not leaking oil. I don't think those leak oil, but they are secure. Looking around the bottom of the aircraft, I see no oil puddling. Air induction, right of the inlet, looks good. The heater air, left inlet, check. Toggle the cover, on and off. We're going to check the oil cooler, lower. The nose wheel looks good. Tire status is in the green. The strut looks good. Checking the, we'll call this the left fuel tank, as it says right here as we read. There is no contaminants. Looks good. The pitot tube. Check. We did not check the probe temperature because it told us to leave the battery off. Toggle the tie down. We're good. We're going to check the landing light and taxi light. Back to where we were. Alright, we're going to do a lights check. So first thing was that we can't go back to previous. We were on 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Walk around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the lights. Okay, so what I'm going to do a lights check. So that requires the battery, beacon, landing, taxi, nav, strobe, pedo. Lights check. Toggle lights. Oh, that's funny. Alright, so we're going to go previous. 1. Next. Beacon light, check. Right wing, check. Lights, check. Lights, check. Where was the pedo check? That's a little bit disturbing here. Let's see. Walk around. Next. Next. This is just doing our lights check. So we're going to turn the light check off. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason for this, so we're going to go off, 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 off. Back to pre-flight. I think is where pedo heat would be. And coming up. Pedo heat cover. Pedo heat. Temperature, warm. Alright, now we're back in the aircraft. We're good. Turn this back off. Turn this back off. Next up we're going to start the aircraft. Mass and balance. Let's see. Front row baggage. Fuel tanks good. Flight time 60. This is in kilograms. Change units. Imperial units. Enable hypoxia. Show side mouse hover only. Oh, I think that's better. Enable mouse gestures. Not sure what that does. Mass and balance. There's some small people. I'm going to go with the 240, needing a diet. Then I'm going to go with my buddy 200 pounds. Call him a little bit slimmer than me. I'm going to fill the tanks. We are not going to fill the tanks. We're going to go to 20 and 20. Try that. Alright, we're good. And we're going to apply that. We are now within 2,400. Going to burn some fuel. We'll be under that on the way in. Turn this off. Alright. First thing we're going to do, we're going to go battery on, beacon light on, take out the mixture in the throttle. Going to add some fuel pump. Going to bring the mixture forward, crack the throttle. That fuel flow gauge still doesn't seem right. Timeout. Okay, those are still on both. That's a little bit weird. That the fuel flow did not flow. Let's try it again. Engine is flooded. Okay, obviously the fuel flowed. Set the mixture to lean, maximum throttle, crank the engine. Set the mixture to rich again, reduce RPMs. There we go, just trade those. Start it up, 1200 RPMs, mixture rich. Avionics on. We're going to look at the flaps. Going up symmetrically, I like that. Good. Alright. We're not doing this 100% by the book, but we're doing it a little bit by the book. Alright, let's see. We are going to connect to the sim. Voila. Connect. Can move some books. Guts to find where my kids put my pen. Well, they left me a pencil. I can take that. And let's see, that did not connect to the sound. Let me try that again. There we go. Green light. We're going to start out, we're going to do a few things in the pattern, maybe answer a couple questions. I know I had a question about Pilot to ATC. I emailed the developer Dave today to get my question directly answered from him because I did not want to give out misinformation. The question that was presented to me, can you use Pilot to ATC with other programs? The answer is yes. Prepared needs a different version of SFS UIPC, whatever that is. So that's going to be some of the differences. It takes a different one than X-Plane does. Must be a different set of commands, programming stuff. I'll just leave it at that. So that was one of the questions. One of the questions was, when am I going to stream again? And here I am. I'm back at it. So we're checking our fuel. Temperatures needs to come up. Fuel flow. Alright, as the throttle goes in, the fuel flow goes up. I'll take that. We're going to find our frequency here. We're using Pilot to ATC. And there should only be... I don't know if this will work here because it's sort of a non-towered airport. So let me try clearance and delivery.
So right there is a good spot here, shuttle. They're going to go to runway 6.
And 120.1. Okay. Cessna 12 Bravo, ready to taxi. Skipping our weather and stuff. We're just going with it. See if it does anything. It may not. Like I said, it's kind of an untowered airport here. Boston Center may control this, but I don't think it does. Excuse me.
Remain untowered.
Cessna 12 Bravo, ready to taxi. We're just going to use the CTAF, the Unicom 123. So we're going to put that in our primary. We are going to listen to the... Alright. Hey, who was that? Somebody just followed. Hey, Symmetra, professional Symmetra. Thank you for following. We're situated at Kilo Bravo India Delta. This is a Pilot Plus scenery. About to listen to the weather.
Block Island state weather. Wind calm. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 20,000 scattered, 35,000 scattered. Temperature 14. Dew point -10. Altimeter 2992.
Alright, nothing major to be concerned about. Flip over to the Unicom frequency. Let's see, we got runway 10 and 28. Let's go down to the left. We'll double check the flag. Block Island traffic. Skyhawk, November 212 Bravo, taxiing to runway 10, Block Island traffic. Make our CTAF call. Little left check. This little moving Cessna that's in front of us is from the Pilot Plus software. Going to lean for taxi a little bit here. Before I forget, one of the things that I'd like to do is... we are staying in pattern, Kilo Bravo India Delta. We do not have the Cessna 208, we have the Cessna 172. We are in the November 212 Bravo. Going to create some flights. This is World Traffic 3 if you're not familiar with it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm not going to override the auto settings. We also have X-Plane Realistic, so that's under plugins, Lua, macros, XP Realistic Pro. This program is pretty awesome. I just helped somebody, a friend of mine, install it today. I hope he's enjoying it and experimenting a lot with it. Taxi light on. Probably should make my CTAF call over again, but we won't. We'll do it when we take the runway. Early morning flight here. What do we got? I think I set the sim time to 6 a.m. My brakes feel super sensitive. I think I'm going to turn these down a little bit. Feels like when I hit the pedals, it's kind of... I want to blame it on it being squirrely, but I think it's the control sensitivity. Control sensitivity. Is that yaw? Would that be? Pitch, roll? I'm going to go... And that should be the pedal sensitivity. That is not the... That's the general sensitivity, so I'm going to put these back. Go up a tiny bit with these. Even though you have them, it's quote-unquote less realistic, it feels more realistic because it does. You have to have a lot more deflection. You have to have a lot more... there's like a... It becomes a more organic feel, in my opinion, when they're turned up a little bit. Alright. Let's say we're going to take runway 28. 2728. Block Island traffic, November 212, Skyhawk, taking runway 28, Block Island traffic. Moving on up. Actually, this is... Oh, we're heading to the east. Oh, I forgot to reset my... This is a relatively new thing. It wasn't one of the last ones. We're actually taking runway 10. So it's headed 180 south. Crank this thing back to south. Block Island traffic. Skyhawk, November 212, Bravo, taking runway 10. That's 10, Block Island traffic. So as we're going to go up, we're going to just do... I should have done a run-up. Let's go crank that up. Flip this off. Landing light up. Nav. Strobe. We'll just check these for following. Little drop. That's good. And left mag. Back to both. Alright, now we're taking the runway and don't see nobody, can't see nobody on that side of the aircraft. That's why I'm kind of jealous of Bambino Gaming and those that have track IR. I'm going to go 10% on this departure. Block Island traffic, Skyhawk, November 212, Bravo, departing runway 10 for left-hand pattern. Block Island traffic. Trying to learn the CTAF calls and become a little bit more accurate in and off we go. Whoa. We want to climb out at around 74. Positive rate of climb. Nose is going to come down to us so we can pick up that little bit of airspeed. And hold that. Gotta come down a little bit. It's a little too slow. A little too slow. Need a little airspeed for best rate of climb, and this should be around 74. Right about there. Down a little bit. And we're coming up on 700 feet before, so we'll make a downwind turn. Block Island traffic, Skyhawk November 212 Bravo, turning left, crosswind, Block Island traffic. And as we turn left, we are at pattern altitude right there. Going to drop the nose. We're going to throttle back. Going to trim it up. We're going to check left. I don't see anybody landing in our pattern, which is good. Going to go left, keeping it coordinated. Doing around a 30-degree turn, maybe slightly less. And a little late on the rollout. Probably could have rolled out a tiny bit earlier. Block Island traffic, Cessna 12 Bravo, downwind for runway 10, Block Island traffic.
Cessna 12 Bravo, altimeter 299er, 3 call turning final for runway 28, good morning.
That's so weird that that thing just caught up to me and said 28, but we changed it. We went to 10. So we're below 110. We are going to, almost a beam of the numbers, pop in that first notch of flaps. We are going to add the fuel pump today. Hey, Lambert's 93, welcome to the chat. Starting off with some pattern work here at Block Island off the coast of Massachusetts. This is the default 172 with the SimCoder's rep. Just downloaded the latest update. So now we're going to pull down to 1600, trim for 500, and crank over our 30 degrees. Pull up on the, don't want to lose too much too fast, and roll out. We don't want to be too slow. And now we're going to roll out this way to the left again. Still holding it around 500 feet a minute. Have the fuel pump on as a backup system. Lost a little too much altitude too quickly on the downwind. Cessna 12 Bravo turning final, runway 10, Block Island traffic.
Cessna 12 Bravo, this is Block Island State Unicom. Go ahead.
Cessna 12 Bravo turning final, 10, Block Island traffic.
Cessna 12 Bravo, this is Block Island State Unicom.
Alright, Unicom. Cessna November 12 Bravo turning final.
Aircraft calling Unicom, say again.
It doesn't like Unicom so much. This is a tricky approach. These trees loom huge. And it's easy to come in really high. That's a weird spike in RPMs there. I'm only doing this one notch of flaps. I probably should have hit the second. Correct. And back off the plenty of airspeed. Positive rate of climb. Off. Turn the fuel pump off. Holding runway heading. Trying to find that 74 knots with pitch. There we go. At about 700-800 feet, you turn left to stay in a standard traffic pattern. And we're going to go left. 30-degree turn. 10, 20, 30. Don't lose too much altitude. We still want to be climbing. And start to roll out. Still climbing. Looks good. And now we're going to go make a left-hand turn at pattern altitude. We're going to reduce our power. 30 degrees. Holding at around 0 on the vertical speed indicator. Over-rotated a tiny bit. Come back, come back. There we go. I'll take that. Block Island traffic. Skyhawk November 212 Bravo, downwind for runway 28. Excuse me, downwind for runway 10. That is runway 10, Block Island traffic.
November 212 Bravo, call turning final for runway 28.
Nice. Oh, I like that. That seems like that's a different feature. Some holding here, about 90 knots, feels good. Below 110, time to drop in a little bit of first notch of flaps. Trimmed out nicely. That's one thing that I noticed about this versus the Airfoil Labs 172. I think this trims out and stays a little bit more stable. I think it makes you look a little bit better of a pilot. And this is going to be short, quick, final. I'm a little bit off my mark. So I'm going to do my second notch of flaps before I turn. Skyhawk November 212 Bravo, turning final 28, Block Island traffic. Cessna 212 Bravo, turning final.
Cessna 12 Bravo, this is Block Island State Unicom. Go ahead.
I think I'm over here. Hey, good evening. How are ya? Welcome back to the channel. I'm doing a little testing here with the Reality expansion pack by SimCoders. So I did a new update today, so I wanted to see how it's handling stuff. 2 notch of flaps, that's good. It's a good rate of speed. Still up a little bit high. There we go. Hang on 1 second. I gotta land. Things are going good today. I was hoping to get online earlier, but my kids kind of commandeered my computer for the whole weekend. So far, I'm liking it. You know, the difference between this and like the Airfoil Labs, see there's no stall warning there, it's coming in a little bit hot. I think this one trims out easier and holds it, where I think the Airfoil Labs is aerodynamically more picky. Trying to find that 74 knots. Come on, drop that nose, and that's the rate of climb. So I'm trying to do things a little bit more by the book here. Figured I'd try to get a tiny bit more disciplined. A little slow, a little slow. There we go, that's 74. It's like the top of the dash is right at the horizon. Go up a little bit more. Gonna talk myself through this. Alright, about 300 feet before Gonna do our 30-degree turn to the left. About a 30-degree turn. Still climbing. Don't need any coordination put into this. And start to rotate. Basically coming out at pattern altitude right here. Gonna reduce the throttle. Check the pattern. I never raise my flaps. No wonder why I was climbing quickly. So the verdict is airplane 1, pilot nothing. I'll teach this thing. I can show it who knows how to use the flaps. And rotating out here, rolling out. And that's it. We're just going to keep this airspeed because I'm sure as soon as I reduce the throttle to 1900, it's going to slow down pretty quickly. So I had a question about Pilot to ATC the other night. It does work with different simulators like Prepared, FSX, but you need a different version of FS UI CP, whatever that one is. Pulling out the throttle as we go a beam of the numbers. Around 1600, start a slow descent. Slow descent. It's going to be another kind of a short final. It's going to be like a pretty tight turn. With this airspeed, I'm just going to hold off on that second notch of flaps. Check. Yep, that's to go. I think I'm going to go crosswind a little bit longer on the next. Totally short on that. And low. Alright, we're going around. Block Island traffic, November 212 Bravo, going around. Block Island traffic. Looks pretty nice down there. I don't see any world traffic spawn-ins, but I put world traffic at the same destination and same arrival, so I don't know if that messes it up. And we're following runway heading. We're going to get to the edge of the beach here, and we are going to go crosswind. So far, I'm finding the new version pretty good. Cessna 12 Bravo turning crosswind, Block Island traffic. Block Island traffic, November 212 Bravo turning crosswind. Block Island traffic. Got to practice those a little bit more, my calls here. And rotate out. Gonna go a little tiny bit longer here. We'll go over this little pond. Let's start to pull out the power. Stay coordinated. Keep the altitude. And roll out. I am going to say I am not reporting any issues with 11.10. I was reading a bunch of the Facebook pages today, and it was a pretty mixed. Hey, professional Symmetra, welcome to the channel. Just talking about my opinion of 11.10. So far, so good. I've had. I don't feel like I'm getting any stutters. I don't have draw parked aircraft on. I am on an island, so I'm not really stressing the CPU or the GPU. We're getting great frames. Oh, missed my beam of the numbers. As I'm chatting here, we're going to pull out power. Oh, there's a little hesitation right there. We got a second notch of flaps, and then I'm going to turn. Full power to 1600. Hold it at around 500 now. Coming around, should be coming around. It's good, we're at 70. There's the airport. Much better approach this time, it feels like. We have good height and pretty good speed. So I think I'm going to go full stop on this. A little right to the runway. Let's see if I can get the stall warning. Gonna hold it off a little bit longer this time. Have the field made. We're gonna go last notch of flaps right before these trees. Feels like we're slowing down. We're losing too much too fast. I'm gonna pull the power right there. Alright. Flare, flare, flare. Hard landing. It's that rotation point to the round out that's a little bit tricky. Alright. Taxi light on, landing light off. So as I started the stream, I did kind of the full walk around. Heron's Nest. I did try that. It should not be named a Heron's Nest. It should be named like the Devil's Landing. My poor Piper Tri-Pacer was not really equipped for that. And then I tried to spawn in with the Cessna with the floats. And I could not drag my floaty plane into the water without it crashing. It was like a weird elevation thing. So I did a couple landings. They're kind of like a blind landing with the Tri-Pacer. Kind of came in between those trees. It's really tricky to judge. So yeah, I did try it. I do have it. What is it? W00W00ME. Maybe we'll go take a quick trip over there. That'll be fun. Alright, parking brake set. Yeah, I didn't really have any kind of thing on the agenda tonight. Seems like pilot to ATC's kind of been an interest to some people. Let's see. Is it going to give me the I'm screwing up my avionics for not shutting them off before I turned off the plane warning? Alright. Let's see what the maintenance report says. Maintenance. We'll recharge the battery. So I really enjoyed this bar. I wish the Airfoil Labs had something like this. I would love to have a damage, sort of more of an assessment on it. Like this says the struts are okay, the tires are okay, but I just did a couple hard landings. So apparently hard landings are not damaging the aircraft. But it would be kind of fun to have it where it says, yeah, nice job, dude. You just wrinkled the airframe. It's going to cost you this much money to fix those tires, to fix that for the tail strike and all that stuff. But that would be pretty cool. But that's, I think, all stuff for the future, though, too. I think, my opinion is we're really just starting to get into, like, realism into these sims. Alright, get this. It does remember where you left off, so this is good. Alright, so we're going to go back out of here. Get into the right thing. Let's see, who's in the chat with us? Professional Symmetra. Let's see, I'm going to go back with the Piper Tri-Pacer. We are going to go to the Devil's Island. Was it 00ME, the Heron's Nest? This is a free island from, oh boy, I'm going to screw it up. Blue Point? Mortisty, welcome to the chat. Let's see, what is it? I Blue Yonder. This is their first X-plane airport. More to see, we are going to the Heron's Nest, a free high-resolution airport by Blue Yonder. It is their first airport for X-plane. It is a amphibious and a tiny little dirt field on the middle of a tiny little island. You just turned in for some good entertainment as I try to make a couple passes at this. Yeah, I don't know how I even came in close. I think I really need to start up a lot with a much steeper approach. I really think I need to get the book on soft field landings. Yeah, more to see is actually nobody else is typing in the chat, but it looks like I have people that are just viewing. I can see who's kind of jumped in. One thing that I do and that other people do, some people just don't chat, others chat more. Alright, so one thing I'm going to turn off is the enable disable X camera because I want to use my little pedals here. Alright, here we are at the Heron's Nest. Love the trees, love the green solar powered or the green wind powered machine down there. We got quick outside view here. Let's see. This denotes one end of the runway. You don't want to run off of those things. And there's an identical set on the other side. So have you tried this airport yourself? Alright, so I'm still set up on that. I always prime it. I don't think that's modeled though. Crack the throttle. On. Yeah, that's funny because I did it. I ran off into the X's on the far end. it wasn't too bad. And then what I did, I tried to see if there was any modeling inside the house. So I drove through the house, flew through, drove through. Is it considered driving? Taxied through the house? So I think, boy, do we want to take off in this direction? We have the bump. Yeah, I think we'll do that. I think we'll go this way. Alright, make sure this is... I'm going to give me an even 200 feet right here. This is going directly south. That matches up. I have plenty of fuel for this flight. Wow, we are loaded with fuel. Alright. Brakes off. I don't know if this isn't really a proper bush plane, but it's definitely good for soft field landings. Go with the first notch of flaps. This thing will just lift right off. There's a huge bump right here too, and the landing speed indicator usually goes off right there. Yeah, that's whoa, stalling. Oh, they have real weather on or something. Yeah, I think this is it's pretty awesome. I think they did a great job. I did not download the ortho part. I had already had ortho, so I don't know if that has anything to do with if my runway's any worse than anybody else's. Flaps up. I'm going to sit myself a tiny bit lower. Yeah, good. Alright, so the chat is coming up on my screen. Good. So on here on the left is the amphibious landing, amphibious water airstrip markers. We'll try to land and then we'll do a tour of the house so everybody can see in the garage. So that's it. That's your home away from home there. So when you're spending summers in Maine and you have your what's a good aircraft over here? Beaver, Otter, 172. Probably not with the floats. Not with that. Not with the dirt strip. So with the Otter, would that be set up with floats and the ability to land on dirt? Hey, Aussie Flyer, welcome to the channel. We're doing a little tour of the Heron's Nest, the free scenery from I Blew Yonder 4 X-Plane, their first offering. Looks really good. Let's see. I think I have to come in. Yeah, I was just mulling that over my head if there's a plane that's both good with floats and for like piles of dirt like this thing. See, where is the runway from here? That is so tricky. I don't think that's it. I think it comes over this way. Hang on. Whoa, it's a big view of the dashboard. You would think they'd go out here and paint the rocks a certain color. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the approach. Hey, does this water look a little bit different? I don't know if that's an 11.10 tweak. Yeah, this looks like the runway. Alright. All the rocks kind of look the same. I think this little bit higher up approach is kind of where I was screwing up before. I was coming in too low, and I wasn't getting a good view of the runway. Hey, yeah, so you're just kind of landing blindly in between the trees. Oh, I feel like I'm going off the edge. Oh yeah. Oh yeah! Watch out! This is what I did, like the first time I flew over here. That was close. What I might do, I think I'm gonna just go, I think landing towards the house is easier. Yeah, no, yeah, and I agree I was too high, but when I come in low, like it's an even blinder approach, like I'm way high here. It's a super tricky approach. I think it's easier to land on the aircraft carrier. So yeah, I'm gonna go around again. What's my altitude? I gotta get this steering wheel out of the way. Okay, so you think right at the bottom. Okay. So I'm gonna try to hold that around 800 feet. Trim it up. Trim it up. Slow it down. Trim it up. And another thing that that you just kind of figure out is it's hard to find references when you're out over the ocean. So I'm a little bit lost, and I don't have a heading bug to set in this. Okay, that's not my island. There's my island, and it's over that piece of real estate. I'm gonna go first notch of flaps there. Alright. Alright folks, this is for your entertainment. This is going to be such a short landing. So you just kind of got to aim for it, it seems like. Just hope there's no gusts of wind. And then let's see, what am I at? 10 feet over the ground. Hard landing, looks like I hit the X's. We can take a quick look at the replay. Whoa! So we'll just give a quick tour of the house here. So let's see, we're going to make up a story. Due to the historical nature of Heron's Nest, none of these trees are allowed to be cut down unless they are diseased. So all the wood that's in for the wood stove has to be imported, or it has to be pellets. So no native trees can be cut down unless they're diseased on the island. It's a very green, conservative, you know, the guy that's lives here primarily in the summers. He stays up until mid-September. I think October 1st was the latest he's kept this island open, because once that comes up in Maine, snowed in. So what I did, I drove in here a little bit, and then I flipped on my lights. I forgot my lights. Alright, brake. Let me take off the window reflections and see if that helps. So it looks like we have our standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drawer Craftsman tool chest with the old green plumber's acetylene and torch kit, and we have the short squatty 4 drawer Craftsman. We have emergency pallets in case we have to change and jack up one side of the aircraft and change wheels. Alright. This doesn't have any reverse in it. And this does not have a reality expansion pack where I can push this thing. Alright. That's the ATV. Alright, we're going to do the X-plane thing here. Heron Tower, Piper, November 213 Bravo, request pushback. Heron Tower here, Piper, 123. We're going to just turn you around here. Just hold steady. Oh, look at that pushback service. Nice. Alright, pushback service complete. Thank you very much to the pushback cart. Maybe that's what the ATV is for. Towing your airplane around. So that is Heron's Nest. So if anybody's interested, that's from I Blue Yonder. It's free for X-Plane. You just have to fill out. Basically, you have to make an account, username, password, and stuff. Probably put you in their database, and so that once they do release upcoming things for X-Plane, you will be some of the first to know about it. Alright, let's see. This back, turn this off. Alright, where do we want to go? Turn off my... oh, this way. That's X-Plane Realistic that's doing the shake. Trying to think about what people have been asking to see. Let's go back to a little bit busier spot and take a look at some of the frames per second and see how how the sim's doing with that. So now what we'll do, I think we'll go with we'll go back to the frame eater, the Airfoil Labs 172, and we'll go to the frame eater of Boston. We'll stay in the northeast here, and then we start at J1. That sounds pretty good. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go with see what the real weather is like. Icy. Somebody had a couple questions about flight sim economy the other day. WOT, have you you use flight sim economy? I remember. I think I don't know. I didn't jot that down. If you did. Let's see, the load time is about the same. I'm using an SSD drive for my X-Plane 11 for the startup. I figured out my issue. Awesome. Maybe I'll do a little Cessna 172 flight sim economy flight from Boston. That's a fun one because it definitely takes all the air traffic control. New in the airfoil labs is almost every time I start I get this crazy windshield fog, so I shut everything down and it doesn't seemingly remembering my last state. Pop open the doors for a second. Go. Open up door. Alright, let's let some of this air clear out. Looks like it put me back in there. So immediately I'm down to 30 frames. Okay, so you have an account but haven't used it. Break into it. It's really fun. Let me we'll fire it up here. We'll go to get to the main page. And let me see if I can. Alright, so here we are on our Flight Sim Economy main page. So I'm going to go to the airports. I'm going to go to Boston. And then the first thing that you want to do, one of the first things that I like to do, I don't know if everybody does it this way, I want to make sure I can rent the aircraft. This is my aircraft right here, November 212 Bravo, so I will rent my own aircraft. And then what I like to do, depending on how much time I have, I like to sort all the assignments by nautical miles. So you hit the nautical mile button, and then you can see which ones are closer and which ones are further away. And obviously the ones that are further away tend to pay more time. Laconia. This one, 09MA, on my scenery is covered with trees. It was very tricky to find. I actually had to land, drive taxi my aircraft around until I actually found a runway. That being said, I did download. Where's my X-Plane 11 folder? Desktop. X-Plane 11. These things right here. X Prefab came up with the FSE Flight Sim Economy Airport. So I believe it's single runway, now has proper names, like proper codes and and exclusion zones around it, so you're supposed to get less trees. And so then there was, it had a library, had North America, East, Middle, West, had a couple different things. So I just downloaded them all and threw them all in my folder. I'm not 100% sure what any of them do, other than I know the Flight Sim Economy one is supposed to fix that maddening thing where stuff doesn't match. Okay, so you have it too. Good. So let's see. So Aussie Flyer, if you have not used it, we can take, where's KDDH? Bennington, Vermont, 104 nautical miles. That's a little bit, it's 6:30 Eastern Time. Brunswick, Maine. This is a good, if you have a caravan, that's a pretty good paying gig, $3,000. Let's go with the short one. We'll just go add this one to our flight. We'll try to figure out we'll find that airport. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then you select it, you add it to your selected assignments, so then you go to your flights. And so in your flights you have my one vampiric air passenger. I have 23 gallons of fuel. That should be way more than enough than what I need. So then you can close this or move it to your next screen. So I'm going to move it over a screen. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to screw this up. You're going to open X Economy. You want to log in. The disadvantage of logging in right away is if you have a long flight and you have a limited rental on some of the aircraft, it starts to eat into your rental time. But I find that's a little bit better than not remembering to start X Economy and not being able to take your passengers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start my flight just to get that out of the way, and then I'm going to minimize that, and then we can go to starting the aircraft. Beacon on, battery on. I'm going to secure my doors. That's good. Secure door. I'm going to pretend the window's open. I'm going to prime the engine. This one seems like if you go forward with them for a couple seconds, that's pretty good for priming the engine. Crack the throttle. 1, 4. I find once the artificial horizon starts to shake, that's when I start advancing the mixture. All the way forward, alternator, avionics, fuel pump off. So we are primed and ready to go. I got to check a quick text message. Alright, nothing urgent that I have to answer. So now that we're in Boston, I am going to I'm going to reconnect pilot to ATC. It will move this stuff up. Delta?
Wind 240 at 9. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 5,000 few. Temperature 1. Dew point -4. Altimeter 2989. Arriving runways 22 right, 22 left, 15 left. Departing runways 15 right, 15 left.
Scale 636, direct off, funnel 350.
Okay, so we have Delta. We have a little bit of wind to contend with. And I'm going to drop down my sim sound just a little bit. I don't know. Okay, that's better. Information Delta 2989. Fix this up. 29er.
Temperature 1. Dew point -4.
89, that's pretty close. Gonna set this. It's about 50. Fairway 636. Welcome to the club. Welcome to Squawking1200. So I'm at 40. 50. About 50. Alright, so we just connected to Boston Logan. We're going to do a quick flight sim economy run. So now that we have the weather, we are going to get, we're going to stay VFR. And we are going to, I didn't jot down the flight sim economy airport. M09MA. So I'm going to go
Altimeter 2989. Arriving
Best way to do this is going to be,
22 left. 15
we're going to get air traffic control. We're going to go
15 left.
VFR from Boston to
Advise on initial contact.
09 MA. Pretty quick flight. We're going to validate that. 4,000 feet. We're going to file that. And we are going to ask for clearance delivery. So fairway 6. No. Mupolo, welcome to the channel. We are using pilot to air traffic control, pilot to ATC. We're going to use World Traffic 3. We are going to 09 MA. We are going to be at 4,000 feet. I'm not going to turn these up too much. I think it hits the frames a little bit. So we're using the latest X-plane. The first full release, 1-0. Haven't had much issues. This hesitation is normal for World Traffic 3, this setup. Sometimes the screen goes blank. Alright, that's good. That's good. And resyncing ground routes. And resyncing ground routes now. There we go. Alright, we got the weather. So let's get our clearance. It's 121.65.
Sky conditions.
Pencil ready? Cessna, November 212 Bravo, ready to copy VFR clearance.
Cessna 12 Bravo cleared VFR to 09er Mike Alpha with radar advisory service at 4,500 feet. Squawk 5532 advise of altitude changes en route. Departure on 133.0.
And then with complicated readbacks, I just use the Say It feature.
Cleared VFR to 09er Mike Alpha, maintain 4,500 feet, squawking 5532, departure on 133.0, Cessna 12 Bravo.
Cessna 12 Bravo readback correct. Altimeter 29er 1, expect runway 15 left, contact ground on 121.75 when ready to taxi. Have a good morning.
Altimeter 29er 1, expect runway 15 left, ground on 121.75 for taxi, Cessna 12 Bravo.
121.75 is ground. So now I'm going to switch over to ground. 121.75, we'll get our taxi instructions. Let's see, did I make sure I got the should be on standby before we get to the runway, I believe. We're at 5532. I want to go up to 4,500 and 121.75. There we go. Cessna, November 212 Bravo, ready to taxi.
Cessna 12 Bravo taxi to runway 15 left via taxiways Kilo 3, Alpha, November. Hold short runway 15 right, and runway 15 left.
And
Taxi to runway 15 left via taxiways Kilo 3 Alpha, November. Hold short runway 15 right and runway 15 left, Cessna 12 Bravo.
alright, good to go. So now, because I don't know the airport, I'm going to use the taxi feature. So it looks like we're going to go out here and hold there, and this is our departure going out this way. So it's going to make a right, go around these buildings, taxi light On.
Number 6 Julia Roman traffic will hold position on runway 6.
Go to nav light.
Fair wings 161 Bradley Tower, runway 6, line up away, traffic departs, runway 33.
Lean for taxi. Can kind of feel some of that
Fair wings
wind.
161 Bradley Tower, runway 6, line up away, traffic departs, runway 33.
Roger, Spirit Wings 161, line up and wait, runway 06.
November 1 Mike Charlie, turn right on hotel, contact ground point 9.
Dog, welcome to the channel. We're doing a little flight sim economy run in Boston.
Alger 6 Julia Romeo, wind
It's
350.
a kind of a demonstration of pilot to ATC more than it is a
Runway heading, clear for takeoff 3360.
flight sim economy. I only have one passenger. I feel like I should be on the inside loop. I have X-Plane Realistic going too.
Brickyard 47 traffic will hold in position.
Alright, I want to go around this thing.
Fair wings
There we go.
161, turn right, heading 0905, runway 6, cleared for takeoff.
Currently, pilot to ATC is not
095, Spirit Wings 161.
insanely picky if you don't go the exact way the taxi directions were, as long as you kind of get
November 6 Julia Romeo,
and follow the line, because sometimes the line doesn't jive with all the airports. That's a World Traffic 3 aircraft right there. There's a little hesitation. This is not Mr. X Boston, this is the default Boston. Whew, that's a nameful. Treasure Kula W. Mazani, welcome to the channel. Doing a little pilot to air traffic, pilot to ATC demo. Also included in this demonstration, I have World Traffic 3. I have X-Plane Realistic going. World Traffic 3 X-Plane Realistic.
161, contact departure, good day.
Yeah, we pretty much have everything loaded up. We're using the Airfoil Labs 172. So I gotta find my hold short.
Cessna 12 Bravo cleared to
There we
cross
go.
runway 15 right.
Cleared to cross 15 right, Cessna 12 Bravo. Didn't seem to take up that.
Cleared to cross runway 15 right, Cessna 12 Bravo.
Yeah, this channel is pretty much dedicated to general aviation flying. Primarily VFR. Gonna back off the dash a little bit. Trying to decide which view I like better. I think this is kind of where I kind of land.
Cessna 12 Bravo contact tower on 128.8. Have a good morning.
Contact tower on 128.8, Cessna 12 Bravo. One, 2, 8.8
Brickyard 47.
tower. We're going to go from standby to
Worldwide
on.
27, you can proceed direct Bedford, contact.
We're going to do
approach 124.4.
a run up here. Turn off the taxi, turn on the landing light, mixture full. Two clicks to the left or the right one, little drop. Back to both. And a little drop on the left one, that's good. We're ready for departure. We're going down 15. We'll set the heading bug. Cessna November 212 Bravo, ready for departure. 15 left.
Cessna 12 Bravo, winds are 230 at 9 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 15 left.
23015. It's kind of like a crosswind coming from our right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 15 left Cessna 12 Bravo.
Alright, we'll let that aircraft clear down there.
Fighter shuttle, they're going to go to runway 6. And I want you to
Double check everything. I think I'm going to turn the strobe light on. 2 degrees. So I'm going to go with the pitot heat just as for backup. Alright, mixture up. Advance the throttle to full. Looks like I feel like I need a little crosswind correction. Who's crossing my turf? And up we go.
494, Bradley Ground, runway 6, taxi via Sierra Charlie, wind calm, altimeter 2991. Essentially the same weather.
I forgot to set the GPS. That water I think does look better. Where am I going? I'm going to 09. M-A. I think there's been a water tweak. I see like some different colors there. Yeah, we moved. We went to, there's been some people asking about pilot to ATC, so I went to an aircraft, to Boston, where we have a bigger hit on frames per second. We have a bigger hit on frames per second with the airfoil labs, and we were able to demonstrate pilot to ATC. Did my stream crash? Yeah, OBS crashed. Hang on. No, it's you. It's not you, it's me.